What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We got a special package from our friends over at Boost Auto Parts. These are the new trail mirrors available for the Wranglers and Gladiators. This is just going to be absolutely nuts. However, with these, it's kind of starting a whole little bit of a bigger project here. The bumpers are going to come off. We're also planning on painting the fenders, the mirrors, the handles, eventually the hardtop. I don't know if we're doing it all at once, but we may. We're going to end up color matching everything here. Because we also did want to color match the mirrors. We haven't opened them yet, but we have seen them, and we're hoping we can paint those new mirrors and get them installed. But just painting the mirrors, we might as well paint everything and repowder coat these bumpers. So step one is we're going to take these off, get these to sandblasting, so we can have them back in a few days and get them thrown in the oven. Alright guys, we got the bumpers all sandblasted. Ashley's getting them all hung up in the back over there. But we're going to do something right now and actually going to implement a technique that very few people do, including the manufacturers of a lot of these parts. We're going to implement this not only on her bumpers, but also our Bronco build here. The powder coat for this is actually in the box back there. We'll be powder coating this lift kit very soon as well. However, we're also going to implement not only on there, but I'm going to be completely redoing that truck, and we're going to be implementing this technique on the rebuild of the green truck as well, because powder coat, believe it or not, is actually not meant for the elements as much as people use it for. As you guys can see, the oxidation has gotten itself underneath a lot of the powder coat and is starting to make it lift, rust, decolor, all of that. So now, considering these bumpers are steel and not aluminum, we're going to be using a zinc primer. It gives us a nice corrosive resistant base and allows your parts to last longer in tougher conditions. Okay, so we got the bumpers and stuff baking in the oven right now. With the zinc primer, we're doing a quick flash on it, 2 to 3 minutes. Once it all flows out, turns glossy. Come back to the black on it for best inner coat adhesion. That's just per prismatic. A few more minutes here, and then we'll get these things pulled out. Okay, so we got the bumpers all color matched. They're actually on the Jeep already. We'll show you those in a second. But now we got some color matching to do. These are the Boost Auto Parts new Jeep trail mirrors. These are, I mean, it's an awesome design. There's 2 mirrors in them, a bunch of lights, all that stuff. They're gonna be sweet. However, we want to add our custom touch. We're in the mood here. We want to color match the Jeep fenders, hardtop, handles, and that's also going to include these mirrors. Let's get these things unboxed. We'll show you what we're dealing with, and then we'll get them taken apart so we can get them painted. Okay, so in the top of the box here are all your wiring harnesses that you're going to need, because these mirrors have a lot of functions that the current Jeep does not. One for each side, it looks like. A couple fuse tabs. More wiring. Of course, the Boost Auto Parts duct, and then the rest of the harness here. Okay, so I'm gonna dig into this foam here. Wow. Look at these things. Oh, that should be easy. Alright, so here we have the Boost Auto Parts trail mirrors for the Jeep. These things are actually really sick. So on the back, let's get this plastic off so you can see what we're dealing with. Forward spotlights, you've got your turn signal, running light in the mirror. And then when you flip this thing over, look at that. You've got not only a upper mirror, but now a lower mirror, kind of like a tow mirror situation. It'll be good on trails, good on the road, more visibility in general. The Jeep mirrors are just very small and hard to work with in general. This really going to open up that field of view for you on the road. Right here you've got back-facing spotlights. Probably hook them up to reverse, do whatever, really light that up. And look at that, that's so cool. That's so cool here. They've got this little built-in shield. So this reverse-facing light isn't going to blind you when it turns on inside the cab. So that's awesome. Okay, so now there's two ways to tackle this. If you really wanted to, you could tape all this stuff off, sand it, do that. It doesn't give as clean of lines and as good of a finish if you wanted to paint these. So what we're going to do is actually fully disassemble this. I know Boost Auto Parts builds these in the USA, puts them together, puts them in the box, ships them to you. But the first thing we're going to do is immediately take them apart. Mirror assemblies like this, a lot of the times all the screws, the magic screws, are hidden behind the glass. So step one is going to be remove both of these mirrors. If you tilt the mirrors down one direction, you'll get access to all the clips holding it in. Sometimes it's a little tighter, but you'll be able to lift up with like a pick tool and get this thing popped off. Oh. Alright, once you finally get these tabs popped off and the mirror, or I guess the glass off, you got two wires here because I guess both of these are heated. I'm going to take a picture of these and then take it off. Now we got to work on the big glass here, kind of the same concept. There's honestly a lot of room and adjustment in these things. It's really nice actually on the customization level. Usually you don't have this much space, so this is great. Well, I guess that one came off nice and easy. Do the same thing, we're going to take a picture. Okay, so after the glass is out, we're left with these screws. This usually separates the mirror in half. I don't know if these need to come out yet, but we'll figure that out in a second. Let's hope this separates easy, and it looks like it does. We've got the top harness, and we've got the bottom harness. Oh, and then we've also got this LED situation going on. That comes out nice and easy. And just like that, you've got the whole front of your mirror ready to be painted. We're going to need this arm to come out or disconnect from this somehow. So we're going to start taking these screws out that hold the whole assembly upright. Okay, so unfortunately in here we've got this spring clip that is holding the shaft of this in, which is keeping us from getting this out, and there's just no good angles, nothing to press on to get that spring clip out. So what we're gonna do is actually disconnect the LED board here for the back of the mirror, and now we're gonna take all the screws out for that. So we'll just have the shell. Then there's one more hiding back here. Grab the LED board. Pull this thing out. Okay, so here is the mirror somewhat disassembled. Like I said, that shaft is held in there by a crazy clip in there, and there's just no good way of getting it out without some kind of special tool, and not worth the time right now. So we're going to paint this mirror like a normal mirror, however all of our lights are out. It makes it easier on us. And then we'll get this mounted so we can get it painted. right, guys, we got the Jeep completely, obviously you could see, handles are off, mirrors are off, hardtop's off, fenders are off. And the past whatever days, we've literally been, I mean, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to color match this, and I forget that every time. However, look at all these parts we got. Got the Boost Auto Parts mirrors. This is for something else I gotta paint black. Hardtop's all sanded down. Kind of a mixture of 180 and 220. The texture honestly takes a lot to get off, but 180 if you're less patient, 220 if you are patient, you'll be able to knock it down, get it smooth. The primer we're gonna use should fill those 180 scratches, no problem. And even if it doesn't, you can sand them out because, you know, it's a primer surfacer, so it's gonna give us a new surface. We can sand the scratches flat if you can still see them, so no problem there. We're actually gonna come back in the morning because I just spent, you know, all day sanding this, and Ashley spent all day sanding the mirrors and stuff. But it takes a lot of work, but the results are definitely gonna be worth it. We're gonna get these fenders mounted up in the morning. We're gonna do a cool trick to get those handles mounted. And then we can finally get all this primered and sprayed. These Boost Auto Parts mirrors, just how they're sitting right here, oh, these are gonna look so good color match black with all the LEDs and the lights in there. These are gonna look so good. Now here's, like I said at the beginning of this video, because the way they have it mounted, we're gonna do a cool trick here, and we'll just have this spaced up, even though it's still kind of connected, and we'll be able to get all the way down there and all the way underneath here just fine. But we'll space it up with some tape, hold it up, and we'll be able to paint all of it just fine. So other than that, and doing some rearranging so all of this fits, because it is a lot, we'll be back in the morning to get all this stuff hung up, and we can finally get spraying. I really want to get this stuff done and back on, because it's gonna look really good. Okay, so it's now time to wire all the functions in these mirrors in. The moving functions are all handled right here, plug and play. But the extra functions, like all the lights and turn signals, running lights, spotlights, all that, is run through, well, this harness. Got it all zip tied going in here. I tried to shove it through the factory thing. The plug's too big, so unfortunately you do gotta zip tie it, but it looks a-okay. Hit it behind it, can't even tell it's there. This is the harness you're given to wire in all the functions. I just spent a good 10 minutes making it a little neater, because you could run this into the next county if you wanted to. There's a lot of wire here. This will plug in. This will be your quick disconnect up here, and then this wires your functions. As you can see, I've split the harness from this to this. Right here, these wires are your reverse, your running, and your turn. Reverse is white, blue is running, and your red and or orange and yellow wire is your turn. And then over here, black is ground and pink is your spotlight. In your kick panel over here, the orange and white is going to be your running light, the white and gray is going to be your reverse, and the green and white is going to be your turn signal. All I did, took a little test light, jab it in the wires, put it in reverse, turn the headlights on, turn the turn signal on. You'll get affirmative confirmation that each wire is what it is. We're going to factory ground all of it on the passenger side, so there's one ground, and then we're going to run power in from the battery for the spotlights and the switch on the passenger side anyway, so we'll connect it all over there. So we're gonna wire up those front spotlights in either a different video or the same video a little bit later on. However, we're gonna get this Jeep out of here, and it looks so good. And all right, as you can see, we just had to do some rearranging in here, and we just got the spotlights all wired in. Super simple process. Now, they send you a toggle, like a flip switch with it, but just to make everything match, obviously, a orange push button LED switch is definitely the move inside this Jeep. Now, obviously, when you push that, you now have spotlight function on the front of these mirrors, and look at that, super bright. That's awesome. And over here, oh, there it is, this mirror. That's fantastic. But as you can see, we got a little more involved because I made a mistake. One mistake down here with this harness. Now, like I said, you can get your reverse and your running light in this harness here. No issue. The gray and white and the, I believe, green and white, whatever I said before. However, the one we put the turn signal into, that was a no-go. That turn signal wire that's inside the Jeep, that, I mean, it would work if you didn't hit the brakes, but when you hit the brakes, that same wire also puts out a braking function, so that was the issue. But as soon as we hit the brakes, the mirrors would do a turn signal function, so that was not it. And to remedy that, all we did was actually grab the turn signal coming from up here. This turn signal has no brake function. Obviously, it's just a straight turn signal. And luckily, because we have the Boost Auto Luma steps on this Jeep as well, the harness runs all the way up here and is already tapped into this turn signal here. This point and over there, the same thing. I use the harness that's running straight to the steps. But if you have a JK, you're gonna have to grab the turn signal off that front turn signal up there, but you can grab your reverse and running light right here in the cab. And I guess here's the last function. And there you go. And that's what was happening when we hit the brake before. It was sending the turn signal on because that wire feeds the same exact function in the tail light. So that's all fixed on this side and on this side as well. So those look awesome. But this is awesome. They look fantastic. And look at that, nice clean install on the button there. Obviously the orange to match. You gotta do that. Now let me tell you, Jeeps, for being one of the most modified vehicles ever, getting wires through the firewall is crazy. If you have a stick shift Wrangler, your only option is a grommet on that side, and if you have an automatic, you do have the blank clutch plate to drill through, and you can send wires in on this side, and you still have the normal body harness going in on that side. So for being one of the most modified vehicles, very few ways to get wires in here. I wish the manufacturer would just give you a dummy plug that's pretty fat and you can run 0 gauge and a bunch of accessories in it. That would be amazing. Maybe one day. This is about perfect time. The sun's setting, about to be golden hour. We're gonna get this thing closed up, get everything put back in, hood closed, plastics back on, and we'll get some shots of this thing pulling out.